Hello everyone and welcome to your tarot guidance for the week of December the 12th, 2022. We have a really interesting week ahead because until now we were used to a certain kind of external tension, more to say. So, we had a pretty tense period from so very many different ways. Now the tension, perhaps materially, physically, in a very palpable sense, dissipates. We have perhaps a small moment of more peace, more calm, even because, don't get me wrong, Mars retrograde in Gemini, even if things go really wrong, complicated, it just doesn't bother us anymore. However, there is a philosophical, spiritual tension within us because sometimes it is our higher principles, it is our worldview, it is how we identify ourselves within the larger sense of existence. So in that sense, it's not just us but it's us integrated in if you know what I mean. So that, like everything else, has shifts, has moments of conflict, which of course will birth something new, has moments of death and rebirth. For example, when a principle, when a way of being, when something we believed strongly, religious, spiritual or not, comes to a point where, as it was, it has to end, but perhaps it continues in another way, an upgrade, for example. So this week it might be our, as I said, deepest principles, worldviews, and life philosophies that might be experiencing a strong shift and a change. So let's see what guidance we get for this week. Ten of Cups reversed. The Oh! Well, I don't know what to say. Because this looks a little bit too bright and optimistic, for at least for my tastes. Well, okay, I understand. I think so. So what it says here is that, this week, Ten of Cups reversed. Now, this is also supported by astrology because there is a strong activity in Pisces, Jupiter and Heretic. So, of course, for some people, it really feels like the Ten of Cups reversed, where perfected success, that is how this card is named, and it's reversed. So you can imagine imperfect success. Let's just keep the success part. Now, where I want to go with this is, when that feeling that the big things in life, well, after all, they didn't complete, this didn't happen, that didn't happen, I didn't make it, I wasn't successful, I didn't really do anything, and that immediately transports us into a state of, like, wishy-washiness, so to speak. When, dissatisfaction, frustration, disappointment, and the sorrow for inner child, of course, gets into that foul mood. And this might be knocking at the door immediately, even now, because that is when Neptune is also very active in a not so favorable way. But this is where the guidance comes in. We can either look at all of that and contemplate a why not, when am I gonna be happy, When am I gonna have a partnership? When is this? Then I'm gonna have a job? When I'm gonna feel better? When am I gonna go to the doctor? But these are big things in life which has a background story. Because why something didn't complete? Now there's people involved, drama involved, family, old family, extended family, the family of partners, friends. So there is a lot involved in why. So you see what that is why, of course, every single period when something ticks for you, this old disappointment just kicks in, and unhappiness starts to kick in if you allow. But on the other hand, there is also a certain kind of carelessness almost within you and in the air, where something just distracts your attention from within, from outside. If it's not your thoughts running astray, then you see a video clip or a song or something and you immediately sucked in into something else. And that is really, really positive, because the Empress and the Two of Cups, this is so very symbolic. If you shift your mood into what you would love the most to experience, to feel, and in a way start, experiencing yourself as, the most comfortable, the most easiest, the most light-hearted version of yourself, you will very quickly see that this will not matter. This is how you wash away the disappointment. Because that's when the void, ultimately, this is a void that Jupiter himself couldn't fill, a karmic pattern, a dream, a whatever, that Jupiter himself can't do. That's big. That's almost like the domain of hardcore. And this is where it's not Jupiter who's hardcore, you are hardcore. Now, hardcore can be like you're such a problematic soul, but when I say problematic, don't understand it in a human way, because problematic in a divine way, that's the good stuff. Because that's when you're very hard to understand, even for beings, forces. Reality itself has to operate through you, and it finds it difficult. So that means, how should I explain this? The immediate flow of forces, of energies, of information, of the divine pattern, in reality, well, it has to surrender because it can't understand you. So immediately you're catapulted to a higher divine perception, which is mutual. Both you go there and the divine goes there. That which can understand you. And that experience itself, the shift of philosophy, can be like this, but it can also be like, if you truly shift what acceptance of self and life, what acceptance means to you, you almost step into a new reality. And people, things, situations, anything is going to behave differently to you. This is where, surprise, surprise, if you let this go, whatever didn't complete, if you have the courage to let it go and say, well, I don't, okay, maybe this purpose was brought on from 3 past existences. You couldn't complete it then. You couldn't complete it after. You couldn't. And now you get to the wisdom that, why am I involved in this? Why? Maybe 3 incarnations, or through 3 incarnations, you did not have the guts, the lucidity as a soul to break away from it. And now you actually, something snaps and, well, this is this is heavy, this is big, this was the most important thing in my, and it's optional, so bye-bye. And you get rid of it. and this replaces it. An inner birth, an inner discovery of your true self, of the unborn self. Because this, all these years, or some people, incarnations of whatever, waiting, concocting, alchemizing, fighting, holding the... Accept that some things are better left uncompleted. So abandon. Perfected success. Why do you need the perfection? It's success already, so allow it to be. And let Jupiter stir up something else. An erratic position. That means it means business. It's serious. It does things with you, through you. Alone it cannot. Because it has to give tone to your, frequency. So love and the Empress, Venus, heavy Venusian activity. Attract, but first attract yourself. And I'm not saying it in a dirty way, but rather in a quantum way. Attract yourself and your life changes. There are certain people, especially influencers out there, who truly do nothing. Have only anti-talents. They see them as talent, they're singers, but everyone lucid sees that it's so anti-talent that it hurts the viewer. But their carelessness, their love for the self is so strong that even a Saturnian person like myself forgives. Sees the anti-talent as funny, sees the worthlessness as how cute, and that's, in a way, that's wrong. But those people need to be there, and they deserve to be there much more than you and me, because they know how to love themselves. They say, well, okay, admiration of others, that's a food to me, but let me show others how it's done. Most of us can not have that performance because we can. That's why some worthless people are so worthy, or infinitely worthy materially. They're like glitter, sparkle, and gold. And again, they absolutely deserve it because they are the ones who truly give us lessons. Like, one of them can come to me and say, blah, blah, blah cards. Bullshit! Oh, I'm so sorry. And this is how you teach people how to love. And they put on some silly show or smile or, what they do. And I would bow to them because, yes, absolutely, in 2022, in the age of Aquarius, yeah, absolutely. You have the guts to do what you need to do. But at the same time, why don't we actually accept their gift and learn from them? Not towards other people, but in a certain kind of way. The divine and divine forces, especially those which are very, very close to the telluric plane, to Malkuth, well, they are susceptible to the same kind of frequencies because they're close to us. I'm not saying self-admiration and self-love at the level of the influencers, but if we can generate something innocent, something beautiful, something worthy, something we know that attracts in a good way the spiritual, / for some people who are adrenaline junkies, okay, the bad. Anyway, it works the same way. You know very well that if you keep on playing aggressively with the Ouija board and cursing and stuff like that, sooner or later you will have guests. This is what I mean. But why don't you do it the opposite way? You know sooner if you have truly beautiful dreams, benevolence in your heart. If your primary purpose is to be benevolent, like you'll attract the spirit. There's no way impossible that you will not attract the benevolent forces. So that's what I mean. If you generate a dream, a desire, a principle, a philosophy, which is based on something beautiful to the divine, it will attract a person, the love, the whatever you need, but it will attract. And the Four of Wands reversed. Maybe this is where us being outside our comfort zones is like Midas. When we touch something, it will turn into gold, symbolically. Why? Because in our comfort zones, well, even if everything is gold, it's covered with dust, grime, it doesn't look like gold anymore. So let's get out of our comfort zones. Perhaps let's leave a role behind. If you leave a role behind, that role will be passed down to another soul. Like, it's not like, we're all replaceable in any way, shape, and form. That's why how beautiful it is that we sometimes we have the liberty to leave a role, a comfort zone, a home, a family situation, a conception about a frequency, a state, and sometimes, very, very rarely, even a whole divine blueprint. Is it possible for someone to leave their chart for it, like not physically, not literally, but let's play with words symbolically. Is it possible for someone to leave their whole divine? Yes, sometimes it is, especially if they've worked for it. Earthly power. So exactly, dare to go there. Dare to go into the place of true self-acceptance and self-love, and see how very, very, very quickly your reality and everything in it, your mood, your state, and what you attract, and even energetically. And again, this is not the toxic positivity, because that would counter work 10 million times. No, rather not be positive at all than to fake it. Divine, a genuine divine appreciation. That is where your mind is blank. You don't have to think. It just wells up from your soul on its own. If you cannot have that state, then faking it, of course, it will not work. But if you want to necessarily fake it, you don't produce a mood, you sacrifice. You go and give to a homeless person, but in a very direct way, where you don't give them money, you go buy the food, wrap it up, you go over the edge. Then you cannot fake that. Then it's not toxic positivity, because you sacrificed it, you felt it physically, it ran through you. The eyes of the person who you have, for example, the animal, the whatever, pierced you immediately. It reached your soul. That's how you know when your positivity is not fake or not fake. Because if you had the power to go out of your way and do something for, let's ignore that it's another person. You did it for the divine. You did it for the harmony of the flow of life. You assumed the role to be the helper there and then. You did something. You sacrificed something. That's not mind. That you did something. You proved it. So that's how you know that regardless of what you felt or experienced, your actions did something. So the positivity is there. It will reflect back. You will feel it. But if you're just faking it and meditating and burning incense, well, no. If you are a person who has the kind of magnetism, who works from distance but for real, absolutely, please stay burn the incense, because what you do there is 10 trillion times more. But if you're not, there yet, then if you want to truly be positive, then do something which impresses the integrity of creation itself, the mind of the creation as one, and be inventive. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I hope this was helpful. And wishing everyone true self-love. Until next time, bye for now.